Hi everyone, how are you? In today's video, we're going to do something special. We're going to use LLM to optimize and enhance our prompts. We're not going to use ChatGPT or Gemini or something like that and ask it to generate a prompt. Rather, we're going to integrate an LLM inside our ComfyUI workflow using something called Ollama. So let's not waste any more time and get right to it. Let's go. So the first thing that we want to do is go to the website Ollama. The link, of course, is in the description. And there, all you have to do is download the Ollama. What the Ollama gives you, it's kind of a mediator that allows you to use terminal or API-style commands to interact with the large language models. It is very simple and it supports a lot of models that you can use right inside your ComfyUI. I will show you two models and you just see it takes the ComfyUI workflow to a whole new level when it comes to prompting. So all you have to do is go to the website, click on the download. Once you click the download, you'll have a file called Ollama Setup. And once you install it, you will see that you now have the Ollama shortcut in your applications. Clicking the Ollama application will open it up in the tray icon. You can see it here. Actually, you can, so I'll move out of it. And this means that the server is now running and we can start using it. In order to use Ollama, you will have to go to your command line. I usually run the command line as administrator. It gives me more accessibility when I try to use system files and things like that, but you don't really have to do it on Ollama. And here, if I will type Ollama, you will see that now it tells me that there are options that I need to create. And the easiest way to start working with Ollama is go to the Ollama models. Here you can see there is a section called models, and here you will have a list of all the models that are now supported by Ollama. The one we are really thrilled about is the Llama 3.1 that Meta released not long ago. And once I will click the Llama 3.1, you will see that I have three different sizes. Of course, the bigger the size of the model, the more performance it provides, but at the cost of resources. So I'm going to use the 8 billion parameters, which is weighted around 4.7 gigabytes. It's more than enough for what we need. If you have a very buffed up computer, you can actually use even the 70 billion parameters, which is around 40 gigabytes. But when I run it on my computer, I literally can't really do anything else almost. And the response time is very slow. It can take around 20 to 30 seconds for it to start typing. And then it takes a long time until it generates the prompt as it writes. So I'm using the 8 billion parameters, which is more than enough. There are ways to optimize it even more and fine-tune it, but we're not going to dive into it in this video. We will probably do videos in the future regarding it. So for now, I'm choosing the 8 billion parameters, and once you choose it, you can see you have here a command line. I'm simply clicking the copy command line, going back to my commands, and once I copy the command, I'm simply going to paste it here on the command line and click enter. Now, because I already have this model installed, it's directly going to open me the terminal where I can already start talking with the model, which is very nice. So I can type hi and it will immediately answer, hi, it's nice to meet you, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of a direct terminal that helps you interact with the language model, and you can see that the response time is very fast. It doesn't consume a lot of resources, and it's very nice. If you don't have the model, it will automatically download it. And if I want to end a conversation, I will simply say bye. Now let's just copy one of the models that I don't have. So we will look here and we'll check the most popular ones. So we have the 5.3 that was generated by Microsoft. I'm just going to click here and I'm going to choose the 14 billion parameters model and I'm going to copy it. And now once I'll go back to the terminal and paste it and click enter, you will see that it's now pulling the manifest and it will start downloading the model automatically. I do encourage you to make sure that you have a lot of free space on your hard drive because each model takes several gigabytes. It's very similar to the text to image models. And once it's done downloading, it will automatically open the response. Let's take a look. And it's done in a few more seconds. And once it is done, you can see it already opened the terminal, and I can now send a message. Hello there, how are you? And immediately you will have the response of the model, and you can now start chatting with it. So this is very nice. But what we're looking for is not to start conversing. Maybe you can enjoy it, but we're not looking for starting to converse with the model like so. What we are looking for is a way to interact with the model through ComfyUI. One of the things that Ollama provides is an API. So back on the website, if we'll go to the GitHub of the Ollama, you will see here that you have a section called Docs. Clicking the docs will open the documentation, and here you can find information about the API. And the API basically allows you to interact with the Ollama server that is now running without the need to open up the terminal in the command line. And on ComfyUI, we're going to use nodes that knows how to interact with the Ollama. So let's take a look and see how we can do it. We are going to start with the default workflow. Now, what we're doing here actually is relevant to any workflow that you're working in, because all we're doing is generating prompts and fine-tuning prompts using text nodes. So you can hook up the text that is generated by the LLM anywhere in the workflow that you desire. And let's take a look how we're going to do it. So we're going to take, well, let's choose one of the models. Let's go with the Dynavision. Let's type beautiful landscape and see what we're going to get. Let's leave everything on the default. Let's just do here 1024 by, let's do 768 maybe to give it some landscape orientation. We have 1280 by 768. Let's remove the save image. It's not what we want to do, and let's give it a go. Let's see what we've got. We got a very nice landscape image, but how can we take this prompt and make it much more informative in a way that the model can generate better images? Let's see how we can incorporate our LLM inside the workflow. So the first thing we want to do is go to the manager and go to the custom nodes. And here you want to search for Ollama. And once you have it, you will see that you have ComfyUI Ollama node. Simply install it. And as always, once the installation is done, you will need to restart it. And once it is done, you will see that if you type on the search Ollama, you will have several nodes. We will talk about the Ollama Vision a bit later, but basically what it does, it's able to take an image and describe it. I assume you already understand how powerful it can be. But we're going to use the Ollama Generate. And Ollama Generate really only takes two things. It takes a prompt, which is what we're going to write down, and it takes a model. The model is one of the models that we've downloaded on Ollama. Now, if I will install a new model here and it will not show up, all you have to do is click this one, click OK once again, and it refreshes the list of the models. Now, this URL that you're seeing, it is basically the URL of the API, of the local API that Ollama is generating once you run it. So this is saying that Ollama is running, meaning that we can interact with it through the API. And this is exactly what this node does. Now let's for a second just bypass the case sampler. I don't want it to generate anything. I just want to look at the response, and I'm going to use the show text here. And if you're missing the show text node, this node allows you to see text that's being generated automatically. And if you're not finding it, it basically comes from the Python GOS. And if we go to the manager and custom, just type Python GOS, and you will see here the Python GOS ComfyUI custom scripts. It gives you several nodes that are very useful. So just install them and you will have this show text. You don't really need it. You can directly hook the response to the prompt and use it. So just before I'm going to hook it up, let's see that we ask it what is art, and let's see what happens once we run the workflow. You can see that it now loads the model that we chose. We chose the Phi 14 gigabytes, so it will take a second to load. Once it's loaded, just like loading a checkpoint, it doesn't have to reload it every run. It loads it once time and caches it. And you can see that very quickly we got a response with the answer, what is art? And now what we want to do is, instead of asking it what is art, we will tell it generate a text to image prompt about a landscape of a beautiful, and let's say we want a forest, and let's click Q prompt and see what it gives us. Now it takes some time to fine-tune the way you interact with the text-to-speech model, but eventually you will find the formula that will generate the best prompts. And you can see that it generated a very nice prompt, an enchanting depiction of an ancient lush green forest, blah 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 blah. And we don't really want the quotes to be there, and we'll just add don't use quotes. And this is exactly the way to work with it. You try typing the instructions for the model, and you will see what kind of a prompt it generates. And if you see something that you don't really like, just add it to the instructions. In a bit, I'm going to show you how to take it even further and make sure that every time you write something, it does the exact instructions based on an instruction set that you give it. So let's click once again. Let's let it run and see what kind of a prompt it generates. Now, I usually use the Llama 3.1, which is, by the way, much faster when it comes to the 8 billion parameters. But as I already downloaded the file, let's give it a go and see how it works. And now you can see that we have a beautiful, beautiful prompt. And let's see what happens if we plug this prompt into the clip. And the way to do it is to right-click on the clip. And here, instead of using the text inside, we will do convert widget to input, and we will convert the text to input. And now we can simply hook the response into the text of the clip. We can do, by the way, the same about the negative prompt, but I don't want to waste any more time. And now let's click the Q prompt. Let's just make sure that we're activating the case sampler. Let's Q the prompt once again. And you see that now it will take the response and it will quickly generate the image that was described in here. And let's see if we indeed get a landscape of a beautiful forest. So indeed, we got a beautiful forest. Look at the details of the image that was generated. And now we can even take it further and we can say, okay, make it green and horrifying. So let's see what it will do now when we click the Q prompt. Give it a second. Also, one good thing with the LLMs is that they get over typos. So I wrote horrifying with a typo here. I don't really care. It knows what I meant. And it generated a desolated dark woodland filled with golden trees, stands ominously against the backdrop, blah, 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 blah. And let's see what kind of an image it generated. I think we got a beautiful, beautiful image. Look at the details, all the branches and all the ticks and things like that. I really like what it generated, and the advantage is that you can use it with any workflow. Now let's see how we can take it a step further and make some kind of a mechanism that no matter what the subject is, I will not have to constantly write the way I want the prompt to be generated. And the way to do it is, instead of using the Ollama generate, we're going to use the Ollama generate advanced. And here it gives us something that allows us to give a persona or further instructions to the way we want the element to behave. And here we can tell it like so. For example, you are an expert text to image models prompt engineer. Generate prompts for the subjects provided. Do it in a concise and very detailed way. Use keywords, specific keywords to describe photo angles, atmosphere. And here basically you can type whatever you want, and we'll tell it do not show the prompt in quotes, and you can further along instruct it how you want it to behave when it generates the prompt. And here we can say a cute puppy. And now, instead of having to write down the entire set all the time, I just gave it one context or one persona. And here I can really very quickly write down the subjects that I want the model to generate the prompt about. So let's click Q one more time and let's see what was generated. Do note that I forgot to connect the response, but let's look at the prompt that it generated. Cute puppy playing on soft grass, sunny day, natural lighting, close-up shot, joyful expression, wide-eyed look, capturing innocence and playfulness. We can even tell it add as many details as possible to describe the subject itself. And this time we're going to connect the response to the clip as well. And let's click Q prompt one more time and see what we're going to get. Young golden retriever pup playing with a bright yellow tennis ball in lush green grass at sunrise, soft morning light, and so on and so forth. And here you can basically write your own persona or your own pattern and the way you want the model to behave when it generates prompts. And you can see that it generated a very nice image. Now, the beautiful thing about it is that I can just, instead of tell it to generate a puppy, random creature, and here I will write Q prompt and let's see what's going on. So here it generated an adorable, whimsical creature with a large round head, and it just generated some random concept of a creature and passed it onto the sampler where it will take the prompt and generate the image. I really like it. And the beauty of it is if I'll use the extra options and run a batch of 10, each time it will generate a new prompt and will generate a whole new image, which makes this tool very, very powerful. So this is how you can do it. What I like doing, I usually go to one of those ChatGPT or Claude. Let's go with ChatGPT for now. And we will ask it to generate a list of key things I need to make sure when creating a good prompt for a text to image model. And it will probably give me a list of all the things that we need to make sure and take note while creating a prompt. And then we will take this list. Recently, ChatGPT have some laggish responses, but we'll wait patiently. And we will ask it to use this list in order to generate a persona for the Ollama LLM model. So we will type like so. Let's let it finish for a minute. And we'll say, based on the above, generate a persona rules or guidelines that will make sure an LLM will follow them when generating a good prompt. And it will probably make some kind of a rule set that we can then copy and paste into the persona or into the contextual or rule set inside the Ollama node. So let's let it run. And now what we'll do, we'll simply copy this list, guidelines, and we'll paste it here in the advanced like so, and we will simply run it. And this time, instead of a random creature, we'll say a portrait photo. And let's give it a go, and it will probably decide what kind of a portrait photo it wants to generate. Let's see how it looks. And this is what it created: a serene studio portrait featuring a soft focus background with a subject dressed in midnight blue attire. Attention should be directed towards their contemplative expression and gentle gaze, and so on and so forth. And you can see that it really generated a very nice image. It really depicts a portrait photo. And if we click Q prompt once again, we'll get a completely different concept. A portrait photo, but probably a completely different concept. And this will be a striking black and white portrait photograph capturing a mature individual, and so on and so forth. So this is a very interesting tool, and it can give you a lot of ideas and a lot of ways to optimize and enhance your prompts. The last thing that I wanted to show you is how we can use the LLM models to investigate and to describe what we have in an existing photo. And for that, instead of generating the prompt from the llama, so let's just add Ollama vision. And here we need to use a model that is able to create vision. If you use a model that doesn't know how to process vision, it will give you a note that I'm not able to see an image or things like that. So one of these models is the Lava, and you can find it here on the Ollama website under the models, and we can use, you can see that the Lava is a novel end-to-end trained large multilingual model that combines a vision encoder and Vicona. So what we want is the vision encoder. This will allow the Ollama vision to process an image. So let's load an image. And we happen to have here an image of a beautiful actress. And we will plug it into the Ollama vision. And we will simply leave the prompt, describe the image, and we will take it here. And from here, we will take it directly into the text of the clip. Let's let it run on a 1024 by 1024 and click the Q prompt. And after a few seconds that it loads the model and runs the prompt, you will see that it gives us a very nice description of the image that we are seeing, and then it will try and generate a similar image based on the description. So you can see that it described it as the image is a portrait of a woman, she has long straight brown hair and blah blah blah. And if we look at the generated image, it doesn't work like a Control It or a LoRa, but you can see that it pretty much managed to generate a prompt that really resembles the original image. And we can try another image just to see if it really is working and it's not inventing something. So here we have several balls in different colors. Let's let it a second. And the image shows a collection of small colorful balls that appear to be chocolate truffles or similar confection. And let's see what type of an image it will generate. And you can see that once again, it managed to generate a prompt that really resembles the concept of the image that we provided. So you can take this tool and combine it in your workflows quite easily. It's very light on the resources if you use smaller models. There are tons of models that you can play with and get different results. So as you can see, you can quite easily integrate this LLM concept inside your workflows. As long as you're using text, you can use these nodes and it can provide very interesting results and very interesting enhancements to the already existing prompts. You can play with it. You can actually create workflows that do several iterations on the LLM to generate even more enhanced prompts and things like that. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.